5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to denounce this sad reality. The depraved beliefs of Holocaust deniers have somehow crawled into our national conversation. What's worse is that it's occurring at a time when our government has decided to turn its back on refugees fleeing violence and oppression. And what is deeply concerning is that all of this is emanating from the White House, clearly directed by President Trump's top political strategist, Stephen Bannon. Mr. Bannon was the force behind Breitbart News, an alt-right outlet that traffics in anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and white nationalism. When President Trump picked Mr. Bannon as a chief strategist, countless groups condemned it. The Anti-Defamation League's Jonathan Greenblatt warned us that Bannon's views were, quote, hostile to core American values. That concern was made crystal clear by the statement President Trump issued on International Holocaust Remembrance Day about 10 days ago. The statement inexplicably left out the defining aspect of the Holocaust, the systemic murder of 6 million Jewish people. It's crucial to understand why this global day of remembrance even takes place. The United Nations created this calendar event in 2005 partly because fewer Holocaust survivors with personal accounts of the horror they experienced were still alive. Another reason was to combat the smoldering bigotry that still attempts to minimize the death of millions of murdered European Jews. The failure to mention this basic fact on such a day as all past administrations have is unbelievable and unacceptable. What is bone-chilling in its insensitivity and callous indifference is that when questioned about the omission, President Trump's White House spokeswoman acknowledged it was intentional. His spokeswoman said in defense of leaving out any reference to Jews or anti-Semitism in the statement, quote, despite what the media reports, we are an incredibly inclusive group, and we took into account all those who suffered. Compounding this refusal to acknowledge that Jews were the main target of the Holocaust, the White House spokesman called critics of the statement pathetic and nitpicking. He tried to gloss over it by suggesting a Jew helped prepare the statement. The fact is undeniable that the Holocaust was about the Jews. Hitler established what he called the final solution as state-sponsored policy to exterminate the Jews and rid them from the planet. Omitting any reference to Jews as the primary driver of Hitler's and the Nazis' intentions is nothing short of sanctioning Holocaust denial by blurring the hatred that was its driving force. Yes, it's vital to recognize that others were systematically targeted for extermination. But the number of Jews murdered and the great lengths taken to identify, capture, and annihilate them are unprecedented in human history. This is why we mourn those who lost their lives in one of history's darkest moments. This is why we recommit ourselves to upholding the principle of never again. This is why we have an International Holocaust Remembrance Day. A cruel irony is on this very same day, Trump released his punishing Muslim ban that Bannon reportedly crafted to stop refugees from coming into our country. The executive order bans travel to the United States from 7 predominantly Islamic countries, though we are told this is not a Muslim ban. The bumbling rollout of the order and the unmitigated chaos it caused has drawn scorn from across the political spectrum and from allies across the world. Fortunately, our legal system has acted as a check on this ban so far. But it's the Islamophobia at the root of it, which is what Mr. Bannon and the alt-right crowd have long promoted. The Jewish community was quick to see the disturbing historic similarities. In May of 1939, the German liner St. Louis sailed to Cuba with 937 passengers, most of them Jews fleeing the Third Reich. The brunt of the Jewish passengers had applied for U.S. visas and planned to stay in Cuba, but anti-Semitic protests prevented them from even disembarking there. After intense negotiations to try to have Cuba accept the refugees failed, the United States turned the ship away, and the passengers were forced to return to Europe. 1/3 of them were ultimately exterminated by the Nazis. It was a shameful chapter in our history. Those harsh forces are still at work around the globe, and it's those very same aspirational principles that drive so many immigrants to come to this great nation. The idea that someone such as Mr. Bannon has actively worked to oppose these values in the past sickens me. The idea that Mr. Bannon now sits on the Principles Committee of the National Security Council is also deeply troubling. The prospect that his alt-right views could politicize the decisions that put American troops and lives at risk is inexplicable and inexcusable. But make no mistake, this outrage lies at the feet of Donald Trump, who allowed this oblique denial to go out in his name. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand here today to say that I will not be silent. In the face of cruelty and suffering I will stand with those who refuse to be bystanders. I will join my voice with those who courageously ask questions instead of thoughtlessly taking orders. Mr. Speaker, the controversy over the Holocaust statement was never just a quibble about words. It's about the memory of 6 million murdered Jews. It's about making sure that no one, especially in the United States of America, denies that its primary purpose was, at its core, about Jews. And if we are to make certain that this never happens again, we cannot erase them from history or allow history to repeat itself. Never again. Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Brooks.